With that, let me pause and introduce our leader of the effort, Jeff Sachs, who is an economist, as you all know. He's a university professor at Columbia. He directs the Columbia Center for Sustainable Development. For many years, he directed the Earth Institute, which is Columbia's umbrella structure of thinking about some of these issues. He is the president of the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. He's been an advisor to 3 UN secretaries general. He is, in fact, the official Sustainable Development Goals advocate for Secretary General Guterres. And he's the author of a number of books, the most recent of which has just come out last year, The Ages of Globalization. With that, let me pass the virtual microphone to Jeff.
Dan, thanks a lot. It's great to see you. Let me say hello to everybody and to thank you for being part of this 2-day brainstorming. We're getting together, as Dan has just said, at a pivotal moment for our country, where we are coming out of what I regard as a political nightmare. I think the political nightmare, I hope the bursting of that bubble was the insurrection on January 6th. And I hope that was the worst that we're going to have in our country, and that we can look to January 20th with the new administration as a fresh start and a chance to actually solve some crucial problems in the United States. So I believe that that's the context that we're meeting, and our work as a network is to brainstorm about what we, mainly universities, also think tanks and leaders in different parts of society, what we should be doing together to help promote the kind of transformation called for by the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs have, as you know, as their overall orientation, creating a better world, defined as one that is prosperous, socially just, and environmentally sustainable. So it is the holistic vision of a transformation to make a fairer society, a prosperous society, and one that gets us past a growing litany of environmental ills and dangers that we're facing, not the least of which are the zoonotic diseases coming at us with increasing frequency, of which COVID-19 has been absolutely devastating, and we are still in the midst of a dramatic battle with this virus. There is by no means assured success in this, because the mutations, the variants, the recombinations of this virus are very pernicious and happening very fast, and we're in a race for containment of this virus, and that's not over yet. So our job is to ask, what can we do better? How can we be engaged more? We have an administration in Washington that is engaged in sustainable development, but I think it's fair to say the idea of the SDGs per se has been no part of our federal government programming or policy thought, not for a moment during the Trump administration, and not in any explicit way in the new administration yet. Though I think the agenda of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals is, of course, an agenda that is very much in the mind of the new leadership, a fairer society, a society that looks to alleviate the suffering of the poorest people in this country, to help meet their economic needs, and to address the environmental calamities that are underway. One of the things that SDSN does, as you know, I hope you know, is to produce an annual report card at the global level, as well as report cards at the state and local level within the United States. The report card for the US in recent years has not been all that encouraging. I thought I would show just the dashboard of that if I can. I hope you can see that. This is the quick snapshot of the 17 SDGs for the United States. Green means that we've achieved the goal. We don't have achievement of any one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in the United States. Red means crisis. And you can see that there are a lot of goals that are in quite serious crisis in the United States. Indeed, 6 of the 17 goals are colored red by this objective international comparative basis. Out of the 166 countries that we examined for the 2020 report, the United States came out 31st of the 166 in the measurement of progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. So we're not even in the top 30 of achievement right now. Now, what are some of the deep shortfalls? SDG 2 is about sustainable agriculture and healthy diets. And of course, the United States does not have healthy diets. We have a hunger crisis in the United States. Roughly 1 in 7 households does not have enough to eat. And this has gotten worse during the pandemic. But we also have a malnourishment crisis with about 36% of adults suffering from obesity. And that, to a very significant extent, comes from a very unhealthy food processing sector in the United States, which makes obesogenic foods. And that has become the basis of the American diet for a lot of people. Very unhealthy foods that are killing people and creating chronic illnesses and vulnerabilities. SDG 10 is in red here. That is the goal of reducing inequalities of income and wealth. I think everybody appreciates that the United States has become one of the most unequal societies in the world. We are a country that prided ourselves on high social mobility and a broad middle class, and we've lost both of those actually. Social mobility, intergenerational mobility in the United States has plummeted, and the middle class has shrunk. The rich have gotten richer. The growth of the poor class has increased. The size, I should say, the size of the middle class has shrunk quite considerably. And the gaps between the rich and the poor have widened to unimaginable proportions. We have a handful of people who have more wealth among themselves than tens of millions of the poorer Americans. And all of this has become far worse during the past 40 years, and COVID accelerated dramatically the inequalities in our society, leaving poor people on the front lines, vulnerable to infection, vulnerable to loss of jobs, and leading to a windfall of wealth at the top, with stock markets that are booming and the wealthy becoming even wealthier. The next red square in this dashboard is SDG 12, which is the goal of a circular economy where we clean up after our own wastes. The United States has huge waste flows, huge flows of waste into the natural environment, huge flows of wastes into plastics pollution and toxic chemical pollutants. And without really a plan of action, certainly not at national scale. And this has led to massive crises of water supplies that are polluted, and more than, I don't know the exact number. I know that it's well over 100. I think it's hundreds of American cities. We learned a lot about Flint and its water crisis, but that is just an example that is pervasive across the United States. SDG 13 is the next red square there, and that is for climate action. We now define climate action in a rather operational sense, which is to decarbonize the energy system by mid-century in order to have a fighting chance worldwide to keep global warming to under 1.5 degrees Celsius, the ambition of the Paris Climate Agreement. So we agreed in 2015 that all nations of the world would work together to try to prevent warming beyond 1.5 degrees. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change issued a 1.5 degree report emphasizing why that threshold was a threshold of potential grave danger if we exceed that level, why it was worth making the investment to stay below 1.5 degrees C, and showing that to have a 2/3 probability, a 67% probability of keeping below 1.5 degrees C, the entire world had to reach net zero greenhouse emissions by mid-century. Now, that's a big challenge for us, especially coming out of an administration that was in complete abusive climate denial, or climate, not only do-nothingism, but trying to promote every fossil fuel project that Trump could think of, every bit of drilling, every bit of mining possible, promoting the sales of American fossil fuels all over the world using diplomatic arm twisting. It was just a nightmare from the point of view of environmental sanity. And we have arrived in 2021 with a huge, huge, huge challenge ahead. Now 29 years left to the mid-century to decarbonize, and that only gives us a 2/3 chance of success in keeping below 1.5 degrees C. As Dan just mentioned, one of the work products of SDSN USA during the past year is the ZCAP project, the Zero Carbon Action Plan project. And this is something where in the breakout session today, you will have a chance to get engaged in this, because this is work that is going to continue and is crucial for years to come. Well, the next red square on this dashboard is SDG 16 for fair and inclusive societies for the rule of law. And what we know about the United States regarding SDG 16 is we suffer the ongoing legacy of a divided and racist society that has cruelly incarcerated generations of people of color in really a brutal system that has not ended yet. We are a gun violent society, as everybody knows, so our homicide rates are among the highest in the world. And that puts us into the solid red of SDG 16. We fall far down of global standards on the rule of law because of this mass incarceration, because of the very high homicide rates, because of lack of trust of our government. And all of this means that the inclusive, fair, just society that is the cornerstone of sustainable development is still in front of us. It's our goal, but it is not our reality. Finally, SDG 17 is the final of these red squares on this dashboard, and that is the goal of global partnership. I would say America First was the opposite of global partnership. Trump pulled the United States out of every multilateral institution he could think of, aside from the UN itself. But he pulled the United States out of UNESCO, out of the Human Rights Council, out of treaties such as the treaty with Iran, out of the World Health Organization at the height of the pandemic. And every opportunity, he said how important it was to slash development assistance for the rest of the world. It's something that we had never seen in this kind of direct attack on the rest of the world from the richest large economy of the world. And this shows up in SDG 17 being a bright red for the United States, because our development aid as a share of national income is about the lowest in all of the donor countries. We're at something like 0.15 of 1% of national income as official development assistance. That is compared to the global target standard of 0.7. So we're less than a fourth of what we should be according to the international standards. But this is part and parcel of several years in which multilateralism was viewed as inimical to US interests. Then came a pandemic where there is no way in the world to solve this individually, and where we absolutely need global cooperation. Even if we did phenomenally in our own control of this virus, the fact that it is fulminant and mutating elsewhere means you can't go back to a functioning economy in a normal way. Today in the New England Journal of Medicine, you can see the two papers that I printed out. I haven't had time to read them in full, but they show that both the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines lose part of their efficacy against the South African variant of SARS-CoV-2, meaning we can't solve this epidemic unilaterally. So SDG 17 is utterly crucial for us, because we need a world that works together. Now, President Biden, from the first moment he came in office, has been reversing the America First unilateralism. President Biden immediately rejoined the World Health Organization, immediately rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, rejoined the UN Human Rights Council, and I believe will rejoin other crucial multilateral activities and treaties as part of our global commitment. So here we are, the United States not achieving sustainable development in the midst of a serious crisis, but we're rich still. We have means to address these crises if we choose to move in the right direction. Our goal as a network is to take on challenges like ZCAP, that is getting to zero carbon by 2050, to take on challenges like hunger, which is one of the breakout sessions and one of the activities that we want to champion as a network this year, to take on inequalities, the racism, the inequalities according to ethnicity, the gender inequities. We issued a report late last year about how the SDGs fall so differentially across ethnic lines and gender lines. And this is part of our goal, is an inclusive and fair society. So this is our work together as a network. And the purpose of our meeting over the next 2 days is to brainstorm what topics, which ways, what kind of activities, how can we turn all of those red squares to green squares? How can we put the SDGs not just as our nice idea or the world's nice idea that somehow doesn't quite reach our political level, but how can we put the SDGs into the political processes of our cities, our states, and our national government? We're going to be hearing from Mayor Bill Peduto shortly, wonderful mayor of Pittsburgh, who has put the SDG process right into the city governance of Pittsburgh. Absolutely phenomenal. So this is all to say we have a big challenge. We're not coming to a finished story. We're coming to a story that is just at the beginning. Let me finally say that we have had the first meeting of the new Leadership Council of SDSN USA. This is very exciting for all of us as members because university presidents, leaders of foundations, leaders of the private sector, leaders of think tanks and activist organizations all agreed and agreed with great enthusiasm to serve on the Leadership Council and to help us to do our work, to steer our work, to advise us on how we can be most effective. And so this is another fantastic opportunity for us in the network. You'll be hearing more about that and from some of the Leadership Council members.